Twilight's Nightmare, Chapter 5, Part 2. The world shattered, breaking into 6 identical pieces. A moment later, she broke as well, almost as if as in sympathy. Who was she? Well, no. Who were they? Where were they, and what was going on? 6 of her spent what felt like a full minute trying to work out what had just happened for themselves. Each of them knew what the other was thinking, that each of them seemed to be experiencing time slower, and that the spell would not last more than a single minute of standard time.
27,
Grace said, tiredly turning to pick up all the scattered plans. 3 objectives burned like a nova, bright in their minds. Number 1. Stop the princess's wellspring meltdown. Number 2. Protect the princess. And number 3. Escape to safety. Star 1 noticed and disregarded the fact that Grace seemed to be moving at full speed, so was likely a spell effect or a delusion. Star 2 focused on using a spell reading spell to start learning the content of the scrolls. Star 3 got impatient with Star 2 and cast a knowledge-eating spell, literally forcing the combined knowledge from the now crumbling scrolls into all of their minds. Star 1 was outraged with any destruction of knowledge, even if it was a scroll and not a book. Star 2 promised to rewrite the scrolls. Star 4 pointed out that they should get on with this. Star 5 started galloping their shared body through the archway and into the entrance chamber. Star 6 confirmed the Notice Me Not spell was still in effect, so they had the element of surprise.
26,
Stars 2 through 6 prepared their spells, ready to cast them as soon as needed. Star 1 let their horn, with red hooves, blood drain, and charged at the princess, lowering her horn. The clatter of their hooves seemed deafening to the stone floor. Their heart was pounding, forcing blood and much-needed oxygen to where it was needed. None of them wanted to watch, but Star 1 had to, so they all had no choice but to observe as their attack lined up with the princess. Their horn plunged between armor plates and into the princess's still burning flesh. As soon as their horn drew blood, Star 1 activated the blood drain spell, pulling with all of her might onto the depth of Twilight's wellspring. 2 noted there was no resistance. 3 were happy that the only way this could be true is if the princess trusted Star to save her. They smiled, despite the fact that their mane was on fire, and blood was running down their horn, staining her coat. Burning magic ripped from the wound and orbited Star's horn. She had pulled out the burning magic so violently that it could not ignite the princess's remaining power. Objective 1 complete. The princess is no longer dying from wellspring meltdown.
Ha! And you said spells like that could never be used for good.
1 started to say before releasing they did not know who they were referencing. 6 dryly pointed out that the creepy stallions now knew something was happening, and that mystery could wait. 2 grabbed the burning magic and spun it into a delayed teleporting trap spell, setting the trigger to be when they were outside of the teleportation dampening effect, leaving burning arcane circles around the ground and around the princess. 3 moved their body in front of the princess, casting Twilight's lab safety spell version 3. An orb of energy enveloped Star and the princess, complex purple runes and geometric symbols dancing over its surface. The heat rapidly drained from within the orb back to perfect room temperature. The now mundane flames the princess was burning with died, and they snuffed out. "What?" the mean-sounding stallion with a glowing green eye shouted. The mean stallion pointed his hoof at Star. Star 1 gulped with a shared body. The other cultists charged their horns, and a barrage of kinetic blasts shot towards Star. 4 let fly her prepared spell, Shining Armor's magic redirecting shield, placing it as their outer layer of defense and setting it to feed the redirecting magic into the lab safety spell, reinforcing it. The magical bolts hit the shield, sizzling as their magic collapsed, the motes of energy sparkling into the lab safety spell. 1 wanted to huddle down and hide. This was all too scary, happening too fast. Though the magical assault continued. "You are mine!" Green Eyes roared. A cloud of dozens of sharp metal blades levitated around him before swarming towards the princess. "He can't see us," 6 considered. "He thinks the princess is doing this. This Notice Me Not spell is the best." Star 3 thought about the spell she had cast. Lab Safety Spell version 3 had been updated to deal with food fights and ponies throwing things at the caster. In addition to protecting from a whole host of magical and mundane hazards, any projectile would be returned to its sender. The spell being overcharged meant it would return them with far more force. Oh no. 3's surprise forced their eyes wide open, their ears falling flat. She noticed their head to look away from Green Eyes, and she did not want to see what was about to happen. The cloud of top-grade surgical blades, each engraved with a Canterlot manufacturer's mark, spun around the circumference of the lab safety spell. They were greatly accelerated before they zipped off. The air cracked with a series of booms as they each broke the sound barrier. Star's ears reported nothing but ringing and, thankfully, nothing to do with the aftermath of the returned projectiles. Star 1 was doing her best to distract them all from what could have happened by considering how to improve the sonic protection to make a version 4 of the lab safety spell. Objective 2. Protect the princess. Complete. 6 lunged at the princess, wrapping her in a hug. Noting but ignoring the sizzling sound and sense of burning hair caused by touching the still hot armor plates. 2 took note that the safety spell could not drain the heat from the armor itself. 5 cast her spell, Luna's Hammer, a war spell made for shattering fortifications with kinetic impact, violently picking both of them up with raw magical force and hurling them out of the temple. Twilight's princess blessed the safety spell, protecting them both from G-force and the titanic impact of the spell as they rocketed towards the night sky, leaving a trail for fire in the wake of the burning teleportation trap being dragged along with them. With their accelerated perception, the star got to see the stonework of the temple flash below them. Then the mountain face the temple was built in, then just opened up into the air. The world was spectacular from up here, one noted. The silver moonlight reflecting off a winding river far, far below. 2 wanted to be able to fly and not just fall with style. 3 thought this was all far too terrifying and just wanted to go home. 4 was mentally writing a checklist of how to care for the princess's wounds. 6 was too busy with her spell to worry about what the rest were on about.
3.
Gray weakly spoke. Somehow, Star knew what Gray was counting whenever she counted, and she always had. Kinda strange. She was counting down the time until they were going to teleport. 6 charged her spell, the forbidden spell of Doom of Mages. It was a magic-destroying bomb on a half-second time delay. It would disrupt all magic within a mile and remove any chance of any pony being able to track their teleport.
2.
1 wondered where they were teleporting to. 2 didn't know. She had set up the spell precisely as written on the scroll. 3 started to panic.
Home and 1.
Gray replied to their thought. Objective 3, escape to safety, complete. The still burning alicorn magic exploded, lighting the night sky for miles around, its booming retort even reaching the distant peaks of Canterlot, before echoing back. Before ending it off, I would like to thank my very generous donators for this. Yoshi Super Saiyan 2, Peter Coulthard, Nicholas Springthorpe, Dospo, David D. Sanchez, Dwight Cornel, Gagi, Starlight Glimmer, Trey, Pokekillerzach, SoulDragon, Britton, and Joe Pearce. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. And also, Merry Christmas, and Happy Holidays. To anyone who watched this today. Have a great day if you're watching this on another day.
Bruh.